Yeah, the plan is a lane and then like. If you want, if it makes it easier for point my direction, I'll call on
Roberto, are you relieved now that all the speculation can finally be over for you?
Yeah, I mean, I think it's nice to get past this point. I think could really focus now on one thing, and that's doing what I can do to help this team from here on in until the end of the season. And obviously, in the last couple of weeks, things have been a little bit emotionally tough for me as far as where I'm going or whatnot. But now I can really make sure that I'm focusing on the right thing.
Roberto, it couldn't have just been a normal morning for you, getting up today, coming to the rink, seeing the guys and seeing Corey.
Yeah, I mean.
How was that for you?
Honestly, it's weird. I mean, I've been pretty calm about the whole situation till about, for some reason, yesterday late evening. I started getting weird feelings in my stomach. Not that I had to go to the bathroom, but just that I was getting nervous, and I didn't really know. Obviously, I knew why, but it was the first time really that I had that type of feeling in my gut. So I wasn't sure what was going to happen, but now that it's over, I can, like I said, just focus on hockey.
Karen and Ed.
You left the ice early. I was curious what that was all about. And
Well, it was 10 minutes before the deadline, so they wanted to make sure that I was available in case something happened and in case I needed to sign off on anything.
was it your sense at that point that something was in play?
Well, I thought something was possible. I wasn't sure if something was going to happen or not, but I definitely knew something was possible.
Ed.
Roberto, are you disappointed you're not traded and that you're willing to go through the rest of the season as the backup?
I don't think disappointment is the right word. I think it's been an emotional ride the last year, I think it's more the unknown that has gotten to me more than anything else. I mean, I'm proud to be a Vancouver Canuck. I love it here. I love my teammates, and there's nothing wrong with that. It's just a matter of sometimes the unknown and what the future holds is something that you try not to think about, but you do sometimes. And I'm human, and sometimes it gets to you.
I see everybody's request. I've got Brooke, and then I've got Jay, and then I've got everyone.
From what you were hearing, Roberto, from Mike, what was the stumbling block to moving him? Would it be length of contract, term, trade, anything?
My contract sucks. That's what the problem is, and fortunately, it's a big factor in trading me, and it's probably why I'm still here.
What part about your contract?
I don't know. You guys do the analysis on that, so can tell you.
Jay, Ian, and then Jason.
Roberto, I'm glad you brought that up because that's, I mean, as many millions as you're pulling in, have you thought about that contract and how much it's going to play, how much you don't play, or how much you will play, and where in the next year? So how difficult it is? I mean, have you thought a lot about that?
For sure. I mean, I've had a whole year to think about it, so it's good for some things, but not so good for others. So that's a decision me and management made a few years ago when we signed it, and we're going to have to find a way to get a solution.
Yeah, how difficult is it? I mean, could you move yourself if you were a general manager? I mean, did you be put in Mike's position? Or
I don't know. Yeah, it's a tough situation for everybody, no doubt. I mean, we're obviously trying to make the best out of it and making sure that what's best for both sides is done. And obviously, the time wasn't now, and we'll have to wait.
Ian, Jason, Farmer.
Roberto, obviously, to a lot of people, you've got it made. This huge contract, $64 million, whether you play or not.
Yeah.
But at this point, is the money poor compensation for not playing? If you could trade some of that contract, but be able to go play somewhere.
I'd scrap it if I could right now. So.
And just a quick follow-up as well. You were very clear in the summer that you wanted to go to Florida. And I think the team tried off and on for a while to make a deal happen. It never happened. Do you wish that you had given them more options back then? Is there anything about this process that you would do differently?
That's a good question, and it's a tough one to answer. I mean, I was never approached with a trade somewhere else, and I said no. So if that would have happened, I would have said yes, obviously. But right now, you know, there was obviously some teams that were interested, and nothing ever really materialized to the point where I had to give a decision whether I was going to waive or not. So that's as good an answer I could give you for that.
Thanks for waiting, Jason, in the forum.
You did say that if you really wanted to be traded about a month ago, you could have been traded at some point. Are there regrets?
I don't understand your question.
About 6 weeks ago, you said if I had really wanted to be traded, I could have been traded by now.
Well, that was, yeah, I think what I meant by that was obviously if I had taken a different approach to from the end of last year till now as the way I conduct myself, I think, you know, things would have been different. But I'm not disappointed in the way I've handled the situation. I think I've tried to handle it the right way and not create any negative energy around the team. And you know, whether that endeared a trade or not, I mean, I don't regret the way I've handled things.
You said you came into this season, you had an open mind, whatever happens, happens. What if you have to do it again?
What do you mean?
Next year, same spot.
I mean, that's a tough question to answer. I mean, I think right now I just really want to focus on the rest of the year. I mean, there's no point in worrying about what's going to happen this summer. And we'll just get to that when we get there.
Emotionally, how do you handle the rest of the season? I'm sure on some levels you probably thought it wouldn't come to this after the deadline. How do you deal with that?
Well, I'm going to gather myself for the rest of the day and make sure that when I come to work tomorrow, I'm going to be 100% dedicated to this team the rest of the year, no matter what that capacity is. I mean, I would like nothing better than win a Stanley Cup here this year, and you know, whether that is starting or being a backup, I think that's the end goal for everybody in this locker room, and I'm going to give myself 100% to that.
Okay, 5 more. Joy.
Over the past few months, Roberto, we've seen, many people have seen a different side of you.
Yep.
I know a lot of hockey fans will wonder, are they going to keep seeing that same side of you, especially when it comes to social media or just how you approach life day to day? Does today's activity change that?
No, I mean, that's who I am, so I don't know why that would change after today. Obviously, there's some days that are harder than others, but at the end of the day, that's the person that I am, and maybe people are seeing it more now than before, but for me, I mean, you know, nothing really changes.
Dan, then 3 more.
Roberto, I know you said you didn't want to create any negativity around the team, but over the past year, have you ever thought about speaking to Mike and saying, I'm going to stay here, and essentially forcing him to maybe move?
No, that never happened. I think after what transpired, you know, the last year and before that, I think it was just a natural progression. I think that you know, Schneid's took over and for me to move on. So that never really came about.
Brooke, 2 more.
When you were taken off the ice, pulled off the ice, whatever you want to call it, Roberto, speaking of butterflies, were you thinking something was up? What was running through your
Yeah, of course, definitely. I mean, wasn't sure. I was asking TC repeatedly. Thought he may be lying to me for a second, and then you know, once I got in the office, just sat down with Mike and just told me what was going on.
I got time for 2 more. I'll repeat that time for 2 more. Okay?
Roberto, how would you sum up this whole thing? If you were writing your story today that's going to be in the paper or on tonight's news, how would you write what's gone on last year?
TBD, to be determined. That's, we don't know. We'll see what happens when it's all said and done, I guess. Hockey, yeah, definitely, for sure. I mean, you know, hockey's a funny thing. Sometimes things work out for certain reasons. So at the end of the day, maybe this is the best possible outcome for me for this year. You know, hopefully we can go on a run here and make something special happen in the playoffs.
I got one last question from Kevin.
Just, I mean, Mike's talked about there being interest and just not an unwillingness to pay the price he wants. When you hear that, is it frustrating to know that you could be elsewhere?
I wouldn't call it frustrating, and it wouldn't have anything to do with being elsewhere. I think it's more, honestly, a hit on your pride that, teams are not willing to, give up much. And obviously, it doesn't necessarily mean it's a knock on me, but more, my situation with my contract. So, like I said before, it's a tough spot to be in for myself, for the organization, and for everybody involved. But, eventually it'll work itself out.
Thank you, guys. No, Ben?